So in the last video, I impulsively paid off one of my credit cards, just as probably a lot of people impulsively buy stuff on their credit cards because they think it's not their money. I impulsively paid off one of my credit cards, and that's the Chase Freedom card, right? It had about a $1,200 balance on it or something, and I just paid it off because why not? One of the nice things about doing that is now I can actually start using this card again. And it's a pretty good card. It gives you 5% back on certain categories that like rotate every quarter. So this quarter, it gives you 5% back on Amazon.com and Whole Foods Market. I go to Whole Foods sometimes. If you're earning 5% back, like I'm going to buy stuff at these places at some point. So why not take advantage of the card? That's one of the benefits of having paid this thing off, is that now it just becomes like a pass-through entity for cash that you get rewards off of just by buying the things that you're already going to buy. And the thing that I'm going to do when I show you my mail, I haven't shown you my mail yet, but when I show you that, what I got in the mail, it's going to make a lot more sense why I'm doing that. Because if you ask any personal finance guru about this, they're probably going to say, no, that's a bad idea and you shouldn't do it. And the reason that they say that is because they associate a credit card with automatic overspending. They don't think that most people are going to be responsible with their cards. So they say, no, don't do it. You better cut up all your credit cards. That's what the Dave Ramseys say and like-minded people. And the reason they say that, it makes a lot of sense. We'll get to that in a second. But I just want to talk a little bit more about this card and how amazing it is. This is the Chase Freedom 5% card. By the way, I'm not like going to put my affiliate link or anything like that. I don't have one for this card. I just think this is a good card. That's why I'm talking about it a little bit here. It's a 5% back. You earn 5% back on different categories each quarter up to $1,500. Okay, you don't get $1,500 in cash back. You can buy $1,500 worth of stuff, and you get 5% back on $1,500. So I think you get up to $75 a month in cash back. It's a pretty good card. For 3 entire months, you get cash back 5% on gas stations. If you drive a lot, that's perfect. You go to the grocery stores a lot, so April through June, another 3 months of going to the grocery store, you get 5% back on all your purchases. And if you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, okay, you get a lot of, Amazon and Whole Foods are one and the same now. So it's really good. I already have this card, but I want to show you this because it's so good. It's amazing. It's amazing. When I signed up for this card, all I got was $100 bonus offer. I had spent $500 on purchases in the first 3 months. I got $100. Now apparently it's normally $150, but they've crossed that out and made it $200 cash back. That's pretty good, and there's no annual fee. Amazing. You get 0% APR for 15 months. If you're using credit cards just as a cash pass-through entity, this shouldn't matter. You shouldn't care about this. I'm actually on the low end of this. I think my APR is $14.99. You earn cash back. You get good protection, purchase protection, liability, extended warranties, all that good stuff. And if you take Lyft a lot, this is something new. You get 5% back on Lyft rides for 2 years. That's crazy. So get this card, put it in your Lyft app as the default credit card, and just charge your Lyft rides all to this card. Look, the amount of setup that this takes to basically get 5% off a bunch of stuff that you are going to buy already is pretty amazing. It's pretty great. And you might say, but it's a credit card. I'm not supposed to use credit cards because I'm going to go more into debt and I got to pay off all my cards before I get more into debt. Then yeah, I guess. But if you're using these properly and you have automatic payments set up for the statement balance every month, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be doing this stuff. It's like saying, there's free money on the table. I'm just going to leave it there. And that's the benefit of having paid off this card and changed the auto pay to pay off the statement balance every month. For this card, this Sapphire Reserve card, is still on the minimum payment only. So this card I'm basically not using. Well, I shouldn't be using, but there's still some things that are auto-charged and like the default. So that's actually something that I got to change. So the reason that financial gurus say that you should cut up your credit cards and stop using them when you want to get out of debt, it makes a lot of sense, but you don't have to go that far as cutting them up. And I'll explain why, because it's important to understand how credit card works in order to pay them off in the most effective way. And as you can see, I put a little rectangle here so I won't put stuff that you can't see that's being blocked by my amazing face here. So I'm going to just be in that little box there. All right, but so this is how a credit card works. So let's say this is your credit card, and this is you. And here's a thing that you buy. It's an expense, product, service, whatever you want. So let's say you use your credit card to buy something for $1,000. Let's say $1,035 actually. $1,035, and you pay that into the expense. Well, since you're using a credit card, the money didn't actually come from you directly. The money came from a bank. How should I draw this? Let's put the bank over here and put you down there. There we go. That's going to work out better. So the money came from a bank. It didn't come from you. So within this credit card, I'm going to draw an account, okay? I'm going to call it the 0% account, all right? So the bank, basically what they do is instantaneously, when you go and swipe your card to make this purchase, the bank says, okay, I'm going to put $1,035 in the 0% account, and then you're going to be able to pay for that expense with that money. That's how that works. It happens in an instant when you go and buy the thing that you're buying. Now, let's say that this is the only purchase that you make on your credit card, right? Let's say, so at the end of the month, the bank says, hey, your statement balance is $1,035 and your minimum payment is $35. So we're going to make another account here and call it the payment account. And they ask you to pay. So you can pay anywhere from $1,035 to $35. And let's say that you just pay $35. It's a minimum payment. And the bank says, okay, that's fine. Your payment is good. You're on time. You're creditworthy, trustworthy lender. It's all good. What they do then, and we're going to make another account here. We're going to call it the APR account. What the bank does is they move whatever the difference is from the 0% account into the APR account. You paid $35 into the payment account. That payment, right, balances this out, right? But whatever's left over goes into the APR account. If you don't pay, whatever you don't pay at the end of the month, it goes into this APR account. And this is the money that gets charged the APR. For example, let's say it's 24%, right? For sake of this example, then each month you're getting charged 2%, 24 divided by 12. 2% each month, but really the way that banks calculate interest is on your average daily balance. So take 24% divided by 365. The average daily balance in this case, let's say that we made this purchase at the very, very beginning of your billing cycle, then the average balance is $1,000 and you get charged 24% divided by 365 every day. And what happens is that whatever amount you owe for next month, it goes back into the 0% APR account. And this whole process just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats itself. Okay, that's basically 1 month. Now I want to go into showing you how this is going to work month by month. And with this, you're going to understand why it makes sense to stop using your card if you're carrying a balance and you want to pay it off as quickly as possible. All right, so this is how we're going to represent the credit cards, this kind of box thing right here. We have the different accounts that we just saw. The APR account, we're going to say 12% APR annually, so 1% each month. We have the 0% account and we have the payment account, all right? So let's say that in the first month that we make a charge of $1,000 on our credit card, okay? Now, of course, you know that you can pay off the full balance if you want, but since we're talking about carrying a balance here, we're going to see what happens if we only make the minimum payment on this account. All right, so the bank says that your minimum payment is $20. You make the minimum payment and that's great and everybody's fine and happy. The bank's enjoying that, you're going to carry a balance now because when month 2 comes along, this is what happens. Now, remember that the way interest is calculated is based on the average daily balance of the amount that you carried on your card. So, and I linked a video down in the description by Peterson. It was a really good job explaining how this works. For month 2, we're going to fill in the stuff in the APR account, right? Well, first of all, this amount, everything that's in the 0% account bucket goes into the APR account, okay? And the sort of the charge for having this happen is interest. Interesting, huh? So this generates a interest charge of 1%, $10. Now, let's say that in month 2, Well, okay, hold on. Technically this is incorrect because this becomes 980 because you paid down 20 bucks from your amount. So now you have $980 in your APR account, but you're still getting charged at $10 of interest. So now let's say, right, you keep using the card, and in the second month you make another $1,000 worth of purchases. Okay, the bank says, all right, well now your statement balance is $1,010, but your minimum payment is still $20. So you can make your minimum payment $20 and be on your way. So now let's see. Month 3 comes along, and same thing as before, right? In order to carry the balance, the amount that you're going to pay for that is the average daily balance of your last month's balance. So in this case, we're going to be looking at $10.10. But also, there's going to be an interest charge from the balance that you've already been carrying. We got to make some more space here because you're going to be charged, you're going to be charged $980 from the amount that you're carrying in your APR account. Now, to get the month 3 balance that's going to be in the APR account, well, we had the $980 from last month. We add in the $10 of interest because everything in this box goes up here. So that becomes $990 plus that plus $1,000 purchases that we made minus the $20 that we paid off. So now we have $1,970 in our APR account. So month 3 comes along and we continue to use the card to make $1,000 worth of purchases onto the card. The bank says, hey, okay, now your minimum payment, you're carrying a little bit more balance, so your minimum payment is going to be $30. So we make the minimum payment, but now the bank is happy and we're happy because we got everything that we wanted. The bank gets everything that they wanted and more. So month 4 comes along, and it's really nothing new that you haven't seen before. Okay, so first of all, let's take all this and calculate what our interest is going to be. I'm going to use a handy-dandy calculator here. So we get charged $10.20. For that interest. But we also have now interest from this thing, and that is $19.70. All right. Well, so for month 3, the APR account, we're starting off with $19.70. Then we add in this amount, and we add in this amount, we add in this amount, and we subtract this amount. So this is our new balance in the APR account. Whoosh. Now let's say, okay, month 4 comes along, and we continue to make purchases on the card. We spend another $1,000 on here. Okay, the bank says, okay, your minimum payment is now $40. You got to increase it a little bit because you got to pay more than the interest, basically. The total amount of interest here that you're paying is, what is it? $29.90. So necessarily, it doesn't make any sense for the bank to charge you $20 because your balance is going to keep growing. I don't think they're allowed to do that. So they got to charge you the minimum payment at least more than what you're paying in interest. And I guess your minimum payment is also going to be dependent on the APR, because if you're having 25% APR, you can't get charged 2% per month for the minimum payment. That just doesn't work. Okay, so this is what happens in month 4. Let's see, month 5 comes along, and well, same thing happens here. We got to take the balance, or to calculate the interest that we're getting charged from our 0% account. So we'll take this amount before. Okay, so we use our handy calculator here. So to have $1,000 plus 1020 plus 1970 equals that amount times 1% is $10.30. Kind of see a trend happening. And then we also got this amount. We got to pay the interest on that. So 10% of that amount is now $29.599. They're going to round it up to 60. I just want to pause here for a little bit and just take a look at these numbers. The interest from the amount of purchases that you make that very particular month doesn't really increase that month. 10, 1020, 1030. What really is going to get you is the balance that you're carrying from APR account to APR account to APR account. Because here you're getting charged $980, here you're getting charged $1970, here you're getting charged $29.60, here you're getting charged $39.50. So that's just going to keep going up and up and up. So let's say in month 5 you realize, I'm getting charged a lot of interest. I don't want to keep doing this. I want to pay off my cards and be more responsible and all that kind of stuff. Been listening to Dave Ramsey a little bit, been listening to this video series, and I want to get out of debt now. So, all right, I'm going to change my habits. And there's a couple different ways you can change your habits now. All right, so let's say that you just continue using your card. But instead of making the minimum payment, you say, I'm going to pay off exactly what I used the card for. Oh, but we also got to calculate how much is in our APR account now. So we had the $29.59 and 90 cents from last time. Going to add in the $19.70. So That becomes 70. That becomes that, I think. And then we have the 1020 here. Then we have the $1,000. So now we have almost $4,000 in our APR account, minus the $40 that we paid. Now let's say, okay, well, instead of paying the minimum payment now, I'm gonna pay off completely my statement balance. Everything that my statement balance is telling me to pay, I'm gonna pay it off. So I'm gonna pay $1,000 plus that amount, 1030 plus 2960, and I'm gonna completely cancel out this entire thing that's in my 0% account for that month. That's what that does. That's all fine and dandy, right? Now you're taking care of that. So month 6 comes along. You still have this amount in your APR account, and this generates another interest charge of, now this time it's what? $39.49.90. Oh, they're going to round it up to $39.50. So even though you've completely taken care of all this amount in the APR account with your payment, you're still getting charged interest. And if you keep using your card in the similar fashion and you keep paying off the statement balance, basically what the card asks you to pay as a minimum, plus whatever you bought, you can see it's going to take a really, 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 really long time to pay off this card. So instead, the smart thing to do would be to stop using the card. Stop using the card and keep the payments the same. I mean, you can make these purchases on another card if you want, like a card that has 0% APR, or your debit card, or pay using cash, which is your debit card. Move those purchases somewhere else. And maybe cut them down a little bit. Cut your expenses, right? Then you pay this amount down to this card. Now you've eliminated this, like everything in the 0% account, and now you can directly attack this. So the way that you can think about this in a funny way, right, is that the APR account is what generates all the money for the credit card companies. That's the heart. That's the core of the operation. Everything that's in the 0% account is like a shield. It's a buffer. Because in order to attack this, you want to attack this. But in order to attack this, the payment that you make has to first go through what you purchased, then the interest that you're carrying over from last time, and the interest that you're getting charged from your APR account. So if you somehow manage to clear all of this out, you're still going to get interest from here. This is still going to put up a shield for that. You know what I mean? So, but if you do, now if you do pay, if you stop making any charges on it, you pay it off in full, then what's going to happen in month 7? Let's take a look, right? So month 7, well, you don't have any charges, so that's not going to generate any more interest there. The APR account balance, let's say that you pay this at the very end of the month, because that matters. There's more detail that goes into this, right? But the difference here is you're paying it down $1,000 in your APR account. So now your balance is $29.49. The amount that you're going to get charged here is still $39.50, right? Because you paid this at the end of the month. Now, if you had paid at the beginning of the month, that would have been different. Remember, average daily balance. But now, if you just keep doing this, then you can see you've attacked this because you paid more. You overwhelmed the shields and got straight to that. So if you can continue in this manner, your credit card is going to get paid off very well. But of course, I mean, you're still going to have to make purchases, so put the purchases somewhere else. That's why people say cut up credit cards. That's why people say you shouldn't be using your credit cards when you pay them off, and that's why. But the problem that people run into this is that they do this, they cut up the credit cards and they stop using them, they get all anti-credit card, and then they miss out on the benefits that credit cards have to offer them. Just like we saw, right? Look at this. This is amazing. This is amazing. It's amazing. And I don't know that this is something that's going to last forever, right? So might as well take advantages of it as you can. If everybody becomes debt-free and the national credit card debt goes to zero, I don't think credit cards are going to be as lucrative as they are. Look at this. This is amazing. Spend $500 on stuff that you would have bought anyway, then you've basically made an infinite amount of return here. You spend a little bit of time to open the card, set the auto pay to automatic every month. I don't know, maybe in total you spend 2 hours. I don't know what your job pays you, but I doubt it pays you $100 an hour. So it's pretty good. I used to have a spreadsheet where I kept track of all the bonus points, cash back and points, and miles that I got from my credit cards. I have it somewhere, it's still saved, but if I remember correctly, the amount of cash back, just alone cash back that I got from cards was like somewhere in the $2,000 range over 1 or 2 years. So I just want to show you this. Can't remember exactly what this represents, but I think this represents maybe 3 or 4 international round trips. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it's 2 or something like that. But that's pretty good. I can't tell you how many places I've gone, how many hotels I've stayed at, all for free just because I've been using credit cards. There's an entire credit card hacking world out there where people are dedicated to like figuring out credit cards and how to use them in the best way. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you use a credit card? If you're trying to save money, trying to do things as frugally and as cheaply as possible in order to pay more down on the card, that you need to pay off right here, right? Why wouldn't you use a credit card to do that? This $200 that you get here can go to paying this off faster. And yeah, this goes against, like, if you ask any other financial guru out there, it's going to go against the advice that they say. But now at least you know how credit cards work, why you actually want to stop using the card while you're paying it off, and that you don't have to cut them up. Well, you can cut them up if you want, but it's not necessary. You don't have to do it. So that's it for this video. Yeah, maybe I'll show you my mail in the next video. Maybe. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. There might be some other things that I want to do first. I don't know. We'll see what happens because I'm not really planning what to do next. I'm just kind of taking the next step as it comes along. The end of the month is almost here, so we're going to be able to make our first income statement and see how it went. Do we have positive cash flow or negative cash flow? So we'll see what happens. That's it, guys, for this one. Bye-bye now.